Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. I want to watch this before we get into some more documents. This is from Fox News. It says it came out today on the 21st.
2022 murder of 4 University of Idaho students. He sat down with our own Fox News contributor Paul Morrow in a Fox and Friends exclusive interview. Take a look.
In 2022, when the task force,
either my headphones are breaking, which is quite possible, or the audio for his microphone is bad.
Was formed to investigate the Kohberger case. What was your role at the time?
At the time, I was our.
It almost sounds like the reporter is using the microphone that's on the cop because it sounds real far away.
Our services division commander. I was rank of captain, and that position oversees our investigative unit.
What was the feeling inside the task force as far as whether or not you were going to get there, whether you were going to solve this thing?
Yeah, the feeling, it was palpable. We were all on the same sheet of music. We had the same drive, the same.
He uses that word in every interview. Every single one so far. And yeah, just because you were on the same page doesn't mean that y'all were on to who y'all ended up arresting. We've already seen the proof that that's not out there yet. If there's something out there that actually shows that they had something on Kohberger or were looking at him or anything of the sort before they had the DNA match, then they're not showing it. So either it's going to be completely FBI and they left ISP and Moscow completely in the dark, and they're the ones causing all this chaos, or it's just not true. I've been waiting for it. That's why we're going through every single document, because we're trying to find it, and it's not there. It's not like we're trying to purposely miss anything. If that were the case, we would be literally cherry picking everything. We wouldn't be going through every single document, no matter how completely redundant it is. We are trying to find it. And they're not showing it. So I really am doubting its existence even more than before.
Fire in our belly.
So let's go to the night of. All right. It's November 13, 2022.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
Shortly after the call.
I mean, I'm sorry for the people that are seeing me for the first time, rolling my eyes at that. With the way that we know that they behaved afterwards, everything that we know now about that 8-hour delay, you can't help but roll your eyes at that. There's just too much. There's just too much.
All came in and, didn't expect to hear what I heard on the other end of the line, that we had not only a homicide, but we had a quadruple homicide. 4 U of I students were killed. And my initial reaction was disbelief.
Heavy crime scene for you guys. Mm-hmm. Did you go to the scene?
Immediately.
But didn't go in the house. Per an interview that you did a week ago. You're not going to admit that, though. At least not in this one. Probably because you got told, don't you ever say that again.
So, Chief, we're here at the site. Obviously, the house is gone. Where was the camera that had that video and audio that ended up being so dispositive?
It was on the front side of that house right there.
This house here?
Yep, on the other side.
See, okay, I'm so glad that they actually showed this. A lot of people are still very confused about the 11/12 footage that we keep going over. Even though I put a disclaimer in the beginning of the video where I slowed down the 15x stuff from the Idaho Statesman and then put not 11/22 on the screen, I'm glad they're showing this. Okay, the camera that we are seeing when we're watching the 3-point turns in what I believe is a manual vehicle, and we're seeing Molly drive in and out and walking around and being all weird, it's right here. It's this little black dot thingy right here. The house is here. The house is here. The reason why I don't believe that Murphy was just out on the back balcony is because his bark goes into different echo zones, echo levels. You can tell at some point he is here, he's at this house, on this side in the parking lot, maybe in between 11/12 and 11/18, he is hella close to that camera. And then in other times, it sounds like he's completely on the opposite side of King Road, way over there where their landscape is, or maybe even in the front area of the parking lot. You can tell he is moving. He is moving. So I don't think that he was just out on the balcony. Some people believe so. I don't believe so. I could be wrong. But the way that it sounds, Again, just in the versions that are out there, not in anything official I've gotten myself to compare it to, but just what's out there now. It sounds like he was moving, not just held in place. So I'm glad that they put this out here.
Pointing at the intersection?
Correct.
And that's, I would assume, how you knew a white Elantra was something of interest to put out. After he does the 3-point turn that you guys captured on the camera, Bryan Kohberger comes up this driveway and parks in this parking lot, and then essentially surveils the victims from a vantage point up here before making his way down into the back door.
Are they just assuming this because the back door is like the only thing they really have? Because I know that this was said in court by Xana. But is that just an assumption because they don't have anything else? Or do they actually have a car driving up there and parking the same way that they have Molly? And if so, then why have they pretended this entire time that they only have 11-12 that's worth a shit? And we didn't know anything, at least anything official. Like I said, Mikey had sent me an email about it, and he had sent that information to another channel like a year and a half or so ago about the cameras in front of King Road that would have captured this parking lot action. But we've been asking this for forever. Like, there's nothing on the doors. Like, even if you can't see the back door completely or at all, you can see the path. You could see if somebody came from around a certain direction. So if they've had a camera the entire time that says this, but they still had to use Ridge Road to tell me what kind of car it was, then how does that track? This is a closer camera that, again, can see the parking area of King Road, which means they could see every car that like passed right there. They're claiming the car passes behind Molly. Actually, their verbiage in her report is that it pulled in behind her. So in all of this, in her report, she's not claiming to have seen this happen whatsoever. So is this actually on camera? The way that they have Molly on camera apparently pulling in? Or is this something that they're freaking making up? Because Molly was living in that moment apparently, right? And she didn't tell them anything about a car pulling in behind her or even seeing a white car. Hers was tan. And we saw how if you slowed down the crap that Idaho Statesman did, and I'm sure that it's in Grays too. I didn't stop for that part. I went straight to like the timeline of the event to listen to things. You can see a vehicle leaving. And it looks a little bit darker shaded, but not too much. But you can tell there's probably like a little bit of difference in the color. We're just going to pass that by. We're not going to acknowledge the fact that whatever you said that she said, she didn't say. Because I still find it really interesting. All of this stuff went down like right after her body cam stuff started coming out and her lies were getting exposed. I really wonder if they even knew that she was on camera saying that shit because of how quickly everything sort of escalated. Because this report proves that everything she was saying in those videos is a lie.
Correct. And these trees are a lot thinner. And from here, you were looking right down.
Yeah, I'm going back and looking into like my brain now. I guess it was because you could see more of the house from that area before. They're not wrong.
Through these trees into the second floor of the home. And those sliding glass doors that were not locked.
Correct. We did have information, obviously, at the onset that we thought he'd come in and out from the back door.
Right.
We had the back door was ajar when we arrived. Dylan's testimony about seeing him heading in the direction of the back door.
But then again, what about her testimony of he would have had to scale a tall wall to get in through that door? That door doesn't make any sense. Or there's such a drop off that patio. Why would he have gone out that door? That makes no sense. That doesn't tell me back door from the kitchen. That tells me Kaylee's door, which is just even more confusing because you wouldn't say that you would have to scale a tall wall to use the patio door that everyone that was acquainted with you in that home considered the front door. And it's, again, she doesn't just say it like one time in one reference. She uses it both for incoming and outgoing because of the drop-off and a tall wall. That's weird as shit.
So that obviously led us to this area. Now, one thing that we do know about this area is vehicularly, there's only one way in, one way out. We had members from every agency out here on foot, canvassing every square inch that we possibly could for days, checking every single home for any kind of camera system, talking to anybody who we could get a hold of to see if they were around, or if they heard anything, saw anything that night. You know, starting this investigation from the ground up, and it was a whodunit.
Were you guys aware inside the task force of the intense media interest in this and maybe some of the skepticism that began to develop whether or not you'd get a solve?
Well, that was one part of this investigation that we certainly weren't ready for. Didn't think it was going to happen. None of us thought
Really?
that this would turn into an international media event.
Oh, please.
And it caught us off guard.
There's a lot of
There's no way that you didn't know, bro.
online and elsewhere regarding what occurred in the house. What did you find when you got there?
Upon arrival, the initial officers found Xana and Ethan in
He just called her Xana. Holy shit. And notice how he just went around that because he never went inside the house. So he can't answer the question of what did you discover or find whenever you got there because he never went inside. So he just had to start that with the responding officers so that he's not a liar. Got to catch it.
Xana's bedroom on the second floor,
Right.
and then on the third floor in Maddie's room were Maddie and Kaylee.
Why do you think he did not attack Dylan?
Again, that's just pure speculation. We just don't know.
Did he see her? Definitely.
From her recollection, if I recall, she did say that they looked at each other.
Their eyeballs met.
Correct.
Their
And yet he
eyeballs
walked
met.
right by.
Correct.
There's all
So no, eyeballs met and walked right by. No, sir, because now her entire recollection has nothing to do with that hallway unless she's like obviously seeing more than one person and she's not like putting it all together. She cannot say he was 3 feet away from her in the hallway, but then say that she only saw him as he was going out the back slider, and only as he was going out the back slider, their eyes met. There is a huge difference in about 15 feet. So no, which one is it? Which one is it? It can't be both.
this speculation. Why didn't she call 911? Am I wrong in saying that even had she called 911, there was likely nothing that was going to be able to be done for the victims?
That's correct.
Dylan gives the description, and it's a pretty good description. It ends up being important, I believe. Body size.
It really doesn't, because you're locking eyes with someone. We now have reports claiming that you weren't feeling it. So you weren't drinking. So all of the things about you are like been unraveling. So you're going to tell me that you took it upon yourself to go and find this guy's photo as soon as he was arrested, still claim that y'all looked each other in the freaking face, but then you told the cops straight out the gate that he didn't look familiar. So you like have all this detail for eyeballs, but don't recognize the eyeballs that looked at you when you weren't drunk, when you were very aware of the situation, whenever you were scared, too scared to go down to Xana's room, too scared to leave Bethany's room for 8 hours to even use the restroom per your own recollection story. You don't remember seeing those eyes? I'm sorry, but his eyes are so deeply set. The way that his eyebrows are shaped are so distinguishable. There's no way that she couldn't have at least been like, there's maybe a little bit of recollection there, but he doesn't look completely remember. I'm not sure. She straight up told the police, I don't recognize him. The day he was arrested. Their eyewitness did not recognize the suspect. So how did we go from that to this bullshit that we're being fed now? Everything about her being too intoxicated to remember anything or know what's going on has literally been chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped away. This is why there was no trial. She, and whatever's Bethany's hiding, because there's more coming out with that too. That sounds like it's all bullshit.
His shape, body type, bushy eyebrows, balaclava. Was her description not an important piece of the puzzle?
Certainly was. Yeah, it was helpful. And then once we identified the suspect, those details that she was able to give did match.
There's some recent reporting that Kohberger was heard by Dylan literally saying Kaylee's name during the attack. That would argue, obviously, that he knew who was in the house by name and that there had to be some
And
kind
it's
of
not
previous contact. Is that accurate? Did the task force hear this?
Not that I can recall. I'm not quite sure where they got that report, but that doesn't seem accurate to me.
So let's just talk about that report, since there seems to be somebody in here that's not paying attention to life. When that was said, it was said to Talbot, who was assigned to be the lead detective by ISP within a handful of minutes from getting the call to assist. Blaker is the person who verbally stated this to Talbot, and it's only the most important name besides Payne's because Blaker is the one who wrote all the search warrants and the arrest warrants that got sent over to Pennsylvania and to Washington for all of the things that we end up going through and looking at today. Nowhere in Blaker's own report does it state this. As a matter of fact, Blaker and Payne's reports are pretty much copy and paste until you get to the knife sheath discovery. So if this would have been real and if this would have been said, then the man who relayed it to Talbot, who then wrote it in a report, should have had it in his own report, should he not have? Should this not be on some sort of body cam or something somewhere? Should he not have had the same information, his own information that, again, went for the arrest and all of the search warrants? It wasn't there. This isn't true. What she claims to have heard has changed like 6 times.
You don't remember hearing anything about him saying the name of Kaylee or any of the girls?
Correct. The only thing that I believe was reported was that he said something. Someone heard a voice say something along the lines of, "It's okay, I'm here to help you."
Why this house? Why these girls? What do you? Any theories from the task force?
No, we
Not
weren't
just
able to
these
track
girls.
down any connection.
None whatsoever.
None.
Including online.
Correct. Now, our investigators dug very deeply into social media and all of the potential avenues and all of the tips that we got pointing towards that, and we're never able to establish a connection. We did find, once we got his devices, that he had been routinely wiping them and using programs to do such. But in all of our other dives into all of the social media of everybody involved, we weren't able to find any kind of a connection. Everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know why. Why this house? Why these kids? And we just don't have that information. And I don't.
No connections. I don't want to hear about him wiping his devices and cleaning his devices. If that was the truth, they would not have all of the information that they do have. They wouldn't have been able to track things that he was researching. They wouldn't be able to see all these photos he apparently had on his phone. They wouldn't be able to know that he was looking up the case as of November 16th after the first press conference. They wouldn't know all those things if he was wiping and cleaning his devices. So what does that mean to this cop right here? What does that mean? That he has his browser set on delete history once it closed, like 90,000% of people do? Does he have it to where something routinely cleans the junk files and the cookies and all of the bullshit out of your computers like most people do? Is that what you mean? I know there's a report out here from the Barnharts that we're going to be going over soon, especially when it comes to what they're claiming is going on with his stuff. But if he was really wiping and cleaning things, don't you think they wouldn't have like anything? They wouldn't have all these things that they're using against him now, if that were the case. So they're using that probably really loosely. Do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already.